Fintech or financial technology has brought better financial landscape, both from consumers and also the business. But however, the integrations of new technology with traditional systems will raise new obstacles, and it is regarding cybersecurity issue. And to see the purview, let's check our last coverage on the issue. Financial technology or fintech has experienced a phenomenal growth for the past few years. And of course, the rise of fintech in here has developed new ways and alternatives in the era that a decade ago were monopolized by traditional banks and of course lenders. But however, as the integrated system that happening that in running the fintech, there are a lot of obstacles happened, and one of those is cybersecurity issue. Financial technology presents an immense opportunity for financial industry. The growth of the fintech players has been skyrocketing from only 7% in 2006 or 2007 to 78% a decade later. And the number of players are recorded around 135 to 140 companies. 40% of them play in the payment sectors such as mobile payment as well as payment gateway startups, and 40% for peer-to-peer lending. In terms of cybersecurity, the integrations between new technology and traditional system make concerns about regarding the data collective and the data privacy. And you know that fintech right now is collecting large data about their customers, start from the sensitive personal information and for financial records. A growing share of fintech firms are also beginning to harvest alternative data, essentially collecting data on a customer's online spending behavior and social media patterns to trace their digital footprint. The data collected is typically stored and used for analysts for the purpose of marketing, sales, and financial decisions making, like generating a credit score or determine a customer's risk profile. So Financial Services Authority or OJK hopes that there will be a law that specifically regulates the data consumers and data privacy. And of course, it aims to prevent buying and selling data that provided by the technological companies such as fintech.
Ini undang-undangnya belum ada. Ya tentunya kita harapkan segera ada undang-undang itu agar data individu nasabah tadi kalau orang men-share kepada orang lain dianggap melanggar undang-undang dan pidana. Yang ini belum ada. Sekarang adanya adalah khusus kalau yang punya data komplain. Ya, dan itu baru prosesnya adalah proses delik, ya, mengingkari janji karena data saya bilang nggak boleh di-share kok boleh di-share.
These collections of alternative data also poses legal questions as to whether customers are aware that their online behavioral data is being collected. Did customer give consent? And more importantly, can they withdraw their consent at any time? It sparks legal questions related to the data ownership and whether this data can be shared with the third parties. Because these regulations are still not there yet, OJK has so far requested all fintech companies to include data collecting activities as a part of Code of Ethics. If a fintech company violates the Code of Ethics, the associations will report it to the OJK so that the fintech business license can be revoked. So we may be curious what is actually these regulations in the eyes of the fintech players. So luckily right now we have the opportunity to have interview with the experts of the area.
So at this point of time in MasterCard, we are not keeping our customer data. We don't have demography of the customer. So however, what we have actually the transaction data. So in order to protect the data, obviously it's like father, protecting the kid. We have multiple firewalls. We do our own testing and everything. So data obviously is very secure. I think whenever government or regulators is trying to impose on data security, I think it is a very right way in introducing to the industry, because this is a very important thing to do. This is basically the main line on the lifeblood of every industry. So protecting the customer data is actually essential. I just want to lead this question to the other thing. It's basically how to monetize, how to utilize the data. The important things for industry is actually not only to protect the data, it's also to how to use the data. Use the data is eventually how the company is leveraging their data as such that they can analyze the data to understand their customer better. So also to protect the customer from any fraudulent transactions. So from from issuing for the acquiring, there should be both sides need to be managed by the institution.
Yes, I think consumer data is one of the most important things to protect. And I think for consumer itself, they have to understand that when they share the data, they need to have their consent and they need to understand what is it for. So then privacy is really at the most important factor in our service. Well, I do think we are already comply. The reason being because all our data warehouse, the data center, the data processing, risk management, everything is done in onshore in Indonesia. And we have a zero data sharing policy to every one of our members, so that we want to make sure that personal identifiable information cannot be shared to anyone.
So the association, as part of the industry, is very supportive of data privacy and data protection. Any effort that's taken by the government to create certainty in the area, everyone in the industry is fully supportive. So inside the association, together with other stakeholders, we have a code of conduct, and we just signed a joint code of conduct with our association partners, which is AFPI and AFSI. So what we do is this code of conduct, implementation of it, hopefully will support the implementation of data protection throughout the whole industry, and also hopefully can support the government in creating more certainty in that area.
Therefore, fintech industry must have comprehensive and also adequate privacy terms to comply with the soon-to-be regulations from government, and also to keep customers satisfied. Therefore, we hope nothing but the best for the fintech industry in Indonesia that free from cybercrime. Stay tuned on Market Headlines, because we will be right back after the break.